Good evening and welcome back to Harmon Speaks. This afternoon we're going to be talking with one of my favorite former guests who's come back to visit, a young man named Charlie Higdon, and he's brought his friend Aerin Rhoades. We're going to talk a little bit about being little people. How you doing, Charlie?
Doing great, Gary. It's great to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad to have you back. We had a lot of fun the last time.
We certainly did.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. There may be 2 people in the country who didn't see that first video, and only 2. So if you didn't see it, give us a program, will you? But only 2 people missed it. But for those 2 people, would you tell me what your, I don't know how to call it, what your difference might be? Other than the fact you wear orange and UT.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I am a little person. I have something called achondroplasia, which is the most common form. Of dwarfism, and in a general sense, having achondroplasia means that I'm short in stature.
Okay.
I'm currently 4 feet 2 inches tall, and I grow slowly in the inches every day.
Is that right?
And I do make the most of it.
How long will you continue to grow yearly?
I'm not sure how long it took me. Like for most of the time, I've been at least like 4 feet, like 1.5 inch, 1 3/4 inches. So it's slow, and I don't see myself getting 5 feet anytime soon.
Okay.
But I know that I grow more and more every day.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I'm sure that's true inwardly.
Yes.
Regardless.
More inwardly than it is.
Well, that's where it's important, right?
Absolutely.
I agree. May I ask your age?
I am 24 years old.
Good grief, and you still go around without a cane or anything, huh?
No, yep.
Man, that's a miracle.
I'm a freelancer.
I'm just kidding. I don't even remember my 20s, Charlie, so good for you.
Thank you.
And I also want to welcome you, Aerin. How are you tonight?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Now, tell me where you're in school. You seem to be very proud of that, so let's give them a plug. Where do you go to school?
I go to school at Savannah College of Art and Design down in Savannah, Georgia, and it's a wonderful school.
And it has a nickname?
It is called, we call it SCAD.
SCAD. Okay, there you go. And what do you study there?
I study dramatic writing. I am currently a dramatic writing major, and I have 2 minors in performing arts and sequential art. Okay. And the sequential art aspect actually led me to illustrating these little books right here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We're going to get to those. This is one of Charlie and Aerin's books, called Standing Tall While Being Small. Great title. I like the title. And I love the artwork. I thought
Thank you.
It was very nicely done.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Having written with myself, I know how important it is not only to get the characters looking good, but doing a nice background. I had one criticism of my book was that it was too white. Well, I'm sorry. But the characters look great, so I love the artwork. I did not do the artwork, so I can brag on it. Tell us about the books.
Well, before I'd like to, we go into the book Standing Tall While Being Small. Okay. I'd like to talk about this book.
Okay.
This book is called Charlie's Blue Boots. It is a true story about an event that I had when I at a young age, where I had to get my legs straightened out, and I had to wear these blue casts. Okay. When I at that age, my legs were growing bow-legged.
Okay.
And we wanted to get that straightened out, and so we got in touch with this surgeon at Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland. His name is Dr. Michael Aerin. He was a surgeon there, but he's now retired. But he is also a little person, so he understood what I was going through.
Right.
Now, at the time, this book was originally written by my grandmother.
Okay.
She wanted to write a children's book about this event to teach kids about how so sometimes a little person can grow up differently than the average person. This is one of the ways that a little person has grown up. So when I graduated from the University of Tennessee, I found out about this little project my grandmother wanted to do, but she felt disappointed because she couldn't find an illustrator who could do the pictures. I think she had one at the time, but it sort of fell through.
Sure.
So I felt bad. I felt bad for my grandmother because she didn't get this completed. So I decided to pick up where she left off, and I got in touch with a local publisher here in Knoxville. Her name is Jody Dyer, and she loved the idea about the book, and we got together. We talked about like how we're going to do this book, and then when it came to the illustrations, that's when I recommended Aerin. Because I knew like that she's been working hard of doing illustrations, that she loves to draw. So I thought this would be a great opportunity. So and so I asked her, and she gladly accepted.
Absolutely.
And well, the rest is history.
Well, that's fantastic. Is your grandmother still with us?
Yes, she is. Her name
That's
is Judy James. She does live in Knoxville. And
so she got to see this come to fruition.
Absolutely. Yes.
What did she have to say about it?
Well, I think she, if I recall, I think she said that she was very proud. She was very happy and very proud that her message and her intentions for this book were finally coming out into the open.
You're a good grandson.
Thanks.
And I'm old. I know something. And I'm proud of you. That's fantastic. That's a great story.
Now,
does this just tell about your experience wearing the blue boots, or what's it about?
It's more. It does tell about my experience about wearing the blue boots, but it also talks about the entire experience I had when I was wearing them. Like what was like the entire hospital experience like for me? Like how was it for me? How did I see things? How my family was with me the entire time? How I had the support of friends and relatives, and how they helped me get through this time.
Right.
My memory still of being in that hospital are a little fuzzy.
Right.
But I do specifically remember. I do very much remember wearing those blue boots, and let me tell you, those things were heavy. I mean, I could barely.
Sure.
They were like cinder blocks.
Right, I understand. Well, as a person who's written a memoir, let me just assure you, if the memories get fuzzy, just make them up.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't think you should make them up. You could just probably exaggerate the details.
Well, that's a little bit. That's a little bit. Hyperbole's always been my favorite of the literary terms, so no problem. Now, after you wrote that, then you decided to do the other. How much time passed between these two? Well,
as a matter of fact, they were around the same. The ideas for both of them came up around the same time. I actually wanted to publish Standing Tall While Being Small first, because this was a general overview of what I think are the challenges a little person faces faces on a daily basis. As a kid, the most things I faced on a daily basis were reaching for the top shelf, trying to get around in school, but also getting other kids to understand why I appear this way.
Right.
And at the end, throughout this book, I talk about these challenges and how I've overcome them, like how I've adjusted to that, how I found a solution to every problem. Like if there was something on the top shelf, simple solution, ask somebody to help me.
Right. And most people are willing to do that, right?
Oh yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are. Whenever I'm looking at the grocery store or I need to get something from the top shelf, I usually just wait until somebody passes by.
Right.
And once I do, I flag them down and I say,
Right.
"Can you help me?"
Right.
And they're glad to help as well.
Right. I understand that. I find that a little more difficult, maybe because I'm older and grumpier, but I thank you, Neil. I love you, honey. I'll take your time. But I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, we went to Iam's Nature Center, and my wife and son, after they got me a good 3 miles from the car, suddenly had to desperately go to the bathroom, and I got left in the middle of Iam's. So here I am, looking like a weeble walking through the forest, and my wife texted me something. I took my phone out of my pocket and dropped it. Why? Because that's what I do. And I can't pick it up off the ground. That's not going to be possible. So there were these two ladies who had passed me, and I called to them and asked if they would help. I hate doing that. I hate it. But fortunately, they were really very sweet about it. Turned around and said, "What do you need?" And I told them, and they came running back, and they picked it up for me, handed it to me, and they dashed off as fast as they could go. I really wanted to chase them going, but I did not do that. I behaved myself because they were nice enough to come back, and I don't want to scare them to death, but somewhere I will be lurking, and I will bring you in. But anyway, so you don't have any problems asking people to help you at all?
No, I don't think there's any shame in asking for help.
I absolutely agree, and I think it's a really good point. Tell me about sitting in the desk in the school. I like that story in your book.
Yeah. Sometimes when I would be at school and I would be sitting in my desk, my feet would be dangling from the chair.
Right.
Kind of like the way they are right now.
Right.
But at that time when I was trying to focus on the work, I would lose feeling in my legs, like they would fall right asleep, and the minute that I would get up, I would not feel anything. And
right.
But one solution that the school did was that they provided these crates. Mm-hmm. In all the classrooms that I went to, so that I could have something to prop my feet up.
Okay.
And then that way I would be able to focus more on my schoolwork.
Okay, that's fantastic. We didn't provide that because that was Neil's job, but you just can't get good help these days. But sorry, I just throwing you under the bus, pal. Sorry. But okay, I really love this one. I haven't read the other one, but I've read this one. I really love this. What is something you discovered about yourself in writing this book?
Well, one thing that I definitely discovered about myself is, my purpose of writing these books, and I plan to write more in the future.
Right.
Is I want to show everybody that even though I am shorter than everybody else, I am just as capable of doing anything that you can do.
Okay.
I just have to, it may seem a bit more challenging, and
right.
if there's some things that I can do, that's great. If I can't do it, that's fine. At least I try to set an example that I can do anything that I set my mind to.
Okay.
That is something that my dad has taught me my entire life, and I'm wanting to prove that through this writing.
Right. I don't know if you will agree with this, but I think you might. I've always felt like with the right attitude, disabilities really don't exist.
Absolutely.
There are barriers, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and there are differences. I agree with that. If you throw me a baseball, it's going to hit me in the face. That's just true, and I admit that. I could try to block it, but that would hurt too. So I've never been a great baseball player.
I think you wouldn't have that much of a chance because I'm not much of a thrower anyway.
Yeah, well, there are others, and they would hit me, and Neil would throw a ball at me, and That would not be nice. Other than attitude, tell me what else has helped you become who you are.
That is a very difficult question.
Well, I'll give you a little help. I think you mentioned it in the end of your book.
Yeah, I believe that that what has helped me realize who I am is the amount of support that I get from my family,
Right.
not to mention my friends.
Right.
And I they help me see that I am accepted in this world, and I am very much grateful for that.
Right. One thing I say, to the chagrin of my family, is I use the line they use in Fast and Furious, where I say, I don't have friends, I have family. And I think that's really true. I don't think of Neil as just a buddy of mine that does this. We're brothers. I'm pretty sure that the only reason we weren't born in the same house is God took mercy on our mothers and said, let's spread them out.
But he gave me my brother.
Yeah, yeah, but he was enough
Got the
older.
short end of that stick.
But he's older. Your mother had already suffered him,
I know.
and so it wasn't so bad. But anyway, I think these are very important lessons for people with disabilities. I think most people know them, but there's some that aren't jumping out in the world like you are. And I always want this show to reach them and to encourage them to have the courage to get out and do what's possible, what
Absolutely.
they can do. And what's possible is whatever they decide is possible.
Absolutely.
I think that's true. What do you want to add about that? As a friend of Charlie's, what do you do to help him?
Kind of like, in general, or like for the books, or,
Well, let's go with the books first.
That sounds good. As an illustrator, it is definitely my goal to represent something in a correct light. So when I was illustrating this, I really just wanted to, get down Charlie's extremely, bubbly and bright and, like, optimistic personality.
Okay.
I really wanted to capture that in the illustrations.
Okay.
Because I love his writing style, and I just really wanted to help bring his story to life, because it is a really incredible story, and I just wanted it to be, like, represented well.
Okay. Did you discuss the pictures as you went through and draw, collaborate on what you wanted for each page? Or did you just take the script and go with it?
I just kind of took the script and went with it, kind of.
Right.
And that's usually what I do when I get like a manuscript for like a drawing, or like if somebody wants me to draw something, I will try to portray that in the fullest potential that I can.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, other than as with the book as a friend, what do you do to help with Charlie?
I just I just try to be there for him.
That's great.
In any way that I can, in like any capacity, whether it be
Right.
like for the book, or even outside of the book. I when I'm really close to somebody, I just try to be there for them in any
Right.
way that I can.
Right, well, that's great. That's fantastic. What do you see? Yeah, I know you're doing speeches as well. Is that right? Or want to?
Well, in speeches, yeah, I would probably like to
Do that in the future?
like to do that in the future. Just talk to a group
Okay.
of people
Right.
about who I am as a little person, and
Right.
what my life has been like.
Okay. So how can they contact you if they want you to speak?
Well, they can.
Do you have a website?
As a matter of fact, we do have a social media page. We
Okay.
have, it's called Little People Adventures.
Okay.
You can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay.
And we will, that way we can keep you all up to date on the latest projects we've got, or the latest things we're doing for the books.
Okay, great. And do you do a blog as well?
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, yes. As a hobby of mine, I write film reviews.
Oh, okay.
I see the latest. We try to see the latest films up at the box office,
Okay.
and each week I try to write a brief a review of the film itself. Like I briefly describe what the film's about and then I just talk about my personal thoughts of what I liked about or what I disliked about it.
Right.
And I mostly talk about like if the film tells a good if it tells a good story, how is it presented, how are the performances, and just a bunch of I just give a general overview of all those elements itself.
Okay.
It's called Fantasy, Fiction, and Film, and it's all spelled out, no spaces.
Okay.
And you can find it on WordPress.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
so we try, and we try my best. I do my best to try to be consistent with it, and hopefully, and I just hope that a lot of people who read them get an understanding of how I see the film, and
Okay.
whether or not I would encourage them to see it.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. I'm glad to see you're moving forward with some of this, and I look forward to you taking on more challenges, and you'll be a very, very famous author someday, and I will have known you then. And of course, with your artwork supporting them, I can brag about knowing you as well. Thank you for being on our show.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Well, you're very, very welcome. And I wish you all the luck in the world. Maybe next year when you're the second biggest show of the year for this year, we can come back again. And we'll have you, which I would love. I want to thank you for watching Harmon's speech tonight. I want to ask, please, a few favors of you. Please, first of all, watch the video. I hope that you will like it. Charlie and Aerin are just as nice as people come. Give them a like. Please, if you haven't, subscribe to our channel. We are trying our best to help people understand that people with disabilities are people. That's as simple as I can put it. And I want people to understand that idea. And I want you to be a part of the dialogue. If you watch our videos, please comment, good, bad, or ugly. Make suggestions for other shows you might like to see. Become a part of what we're doing. Your buy-in makes it worth doing. So please let us know. Let us hear from you. And thank you for watching. I wish you a good evening. We'll see you soon.